Hey guys, welcome back to the Stick Page Tutorial Team YouTube. Yeah. um, anyways, I'm gonna be talking about staging, and staging is very useful in many art forms such as photography, videos, even theater and animation. What staging is how you present your scene, and we're going to be going through the basics here with the rule of thirds, lighting, framing, angles, close-ups, all that good stuff. And so, we begin with the rule of thirds. And what the rule of thirds is, you divide the screen up into thirds, horizontally and vertically. So we have 1, 2, 3 here, and 1, 2, 3. And where these lines meet up, these lines that you divided the screen with, where they meet up is key to your presentation, because naturally the eye focuses on these spots, but it has something to do with the Fibonacci sequence and all that very attractive math stuff. And that's like the spiral thing. It was like, ooh, and your eyes was just like pinpoint in that location or something. But anyways, these intersections are key spots to have your main to have your audience's attention at. So in this case, I put this guy here and then another guy down here. Here's a bad example of setting up a scene. As you can see, this guy is in the center, kind of just out of place, and then you have all these empty spots here that are like just a waste of space. It's not really utilizing your whole stage. Another problem, try not to have your person in the middle. I see this a lot in a lot of animations, and it's not really the best way to frame your person. It'd be better to keep them off to the side, and then you can show a little bit of the background as well, which will allow the audience to have more information about the scene. Framing is interesting. You can do it in many ways. In this example, I'm using this tree as a frame for this guy. So this tree creates like a little box for this guy. And when you frame something like this, it kind of draws the user's attention towards whatever's inside of the frame. And then in this case would be this guy. You can find a lot of pictures online, I bet, with these little arches, and there's like, I don't know, a couple in the middle getting married or something. That's also framing, because they are framing the picture within an arch, and it looks cool because all your attention is going to be focused on to whatever's within the frame. A very clear example is if you have a window and a guy's looking through it and he is looking at something he wants. That object is framed by the window, and it just draws the the audience's eyes towards it. Another thing you can use to draw the audience's attention is lighting. And let's imagine these light rays coming down. Right, so lighting is pretty important. In stick figure animation, I guess it's harder to do, but if you're trying to do something serious, lighting is very important. It sets the mood and the atmosphere. For example, this is a very spooky lighting effect where you have the light coming from the bottom. This is more mysterious, where you only have half of this guy's face showing up and his other half is completely dark. You can use it as like a spotlight to draw the user's attention, the audience's attention, towards something. For example, this sword. All the light rays coming out of this is just like screaming, look at this sword, you know? And then, yeah, that's pretty much lighting. Next, we have angles, low and high. This is a low angle because your perspective is from a lower position and you're looking up at something. The illusion this can create is a guy who looks very intimidating or scary. You can also use it as like a cool little effect to show your fights. A higher angle, where you're in a higher position looking down at someone, or you can make the character look very inferior or weak, which is pretty much the same thing. Yeah, low and high angles, they create different moods. Alright, we're talking about wide angles and close-ups now. Wide angles are usually for setting up the scene. This is typically shown in the beginning of animations. You can also show it throughout the whole thing. It depends on what your purpose is. So if you want, you can have your stick figure stand in this little open field. You just pan the camera sideways so they know that they are in an open field. And then later on, you can have close-ups where it shows a close-up of the stick figure or whatever, a person's face. And as you can see here, he is very sad. He's crying. So yeah, you can have it show emotions. Emotions are very important to animations or storytelling, anything really. So this guy could be really pissed off or really sad. And the best thing about close-ups are that it shows a lot of detail, like this guy's wrinkled nose and such. You can also use it to show something that's very significant. For example, a ring. This close-up of the ring kind of shows that is very important to the story or whatever, or like maybe this person is reaching for it. Close-ups just like is another way of focusing the audience's attention. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to be talking about is position of camera. Now, in real life, you would have a camera set up, taking a video on like a tripod, let's say. So, let's say you're having a little guy running through the hall. Naturally, in real life, he would be running off to the side because, you know, if you run towards the camera, you're going to bump into it and all these bad things are going to happen. I often see people actually animate the stick figure running towards the camera, and at one point, he just vanishes. And that is very unrealistic, and it should not be happening. Yeah, anyways, if you combine all these, you get little cool scenes like this, where it's like a low angle, just like all these lightings, shadows and stuff. But yeah, just keep all these things in mind. Rule of thirds, lighting, framing, just like balance, all that good stuff. And then your animation should be looking better. Alright, well, thanks for watching.